coming up right now. Good morning. This is Sweetie Berry with the Women of Dare Whimsy, and we're so glad that you're here with us. This is the 5th week of the month, and at Dare Whimsy, we really want to take that time to celebrate you. You see, all of us have things that we do really well, and some of us have things that we're working on to do better, but there's rarely a time in adult life that we take time to review and really think about what are you doing well and what's to celebrate about this time in your life and this time in this month and this time in this season of your life. So good morning. Good morning to all of you. We have Dr. Edith Johnson, Gail Roddy, and Sarah Cook with us today, and I'm so glad to see you all, ladies. It's an exciting time for me because you're all doing such amazing things. Gail, I'd love to start you off because you call all women to the well in your processes, and you really share with us about the importance of gathering and celebrating. Would you begin us today?
Hi, sweetie, and hi, all the ladies of Dare Whimsy. I'm so glad to be here, too. You know, this is a great season for me. I always love the summer because I try to exercise every day. And so in the summer, when I can get out and actually be in the air exercising around the lake, you know, I live in the land of 10,000 lakes. And so there are about 5 of them right here in my little city. And so I love to be able to get out and exercise. It is such a, it opens up everything within me. And then, of course, there's the nature run where I'm going around the lake. There's water. There's trees that are just, you know, old trees that are just huge and beautiful. And that's such a spiritual time for me in the morning to connect with nature. And I often have a friend that will go with me. I'm going to have one this weekend to go walking with me. And that is just makes it a double communal time where you can share your thoughts with another woman, because that is, as Sweetie said, is what I'm all about, bringing multi-generational conversations together with women and girls. That's just, it's the air I breathe. So this is a great time for me that I am able to share that with friends and, of course, to be able to share it with you at Dare Whimsy. What about you, Sarah? What is this time for you now?
This time for me really is about restarting, getting back to basics and back to school. And it's about looking at the recipes, looking at my wellness routines, looking at the things that are working well for my children. It's very much a reevaluation time and a time to refresh and renew and rejoice in new beginnings as well as fresh starts. So welcome, welcome everyone to Dare Whimsy and Between Us Girls today. We're so glad you're all here. And how about you, Dr. Edith?
Thanks, Sarah. And oh, yes, it's so great to be here with all the women of Dare Whimsy, both those that here in the studio with us and those that are out watching and being around us. You know, it's important for me to celebrate each step I take. And yeah, I've been on a long haul one on some health things, but to be able to see that each bit of progress, even though it kind of yo-yos a little bit, but that yo-yo gets closer and closer together. And so to celebrate that, yes, there's progress. Yes, I'm, you know, continuing my commitment to myself, to me, and being able to keep it. That is just really pleasant and exciting for me to see that progress and be able to do it. Also, when I'm able to celebrate with others and help them see what little steps that they make along the ways for whatever their goals are is really, really exciting for me. And then to spend time just to take those breaks. And like Gail was saying, get out in nature. Well, I've got one of those celebrations coming up where I'm going to take just a few days and take, in this case, also though, celebrating for my brother and his dog, and so that we can go just have that time to be who we are. Each morning, the fact that we get up and we're able to start a new day is a celebration in itself. The fact that we can grow and be who we are is a way to celebrate too. So congratulate yourself today and each day on being with us, being who you are, and being able to take your next step in life. Sweetie, what would you have to say?
You know, this is a season of everybody's changing at my house. We've got one that is getting ready to go back to her second year of college. We've got a guy who's graduating college. We have another child of ours who is starting his life at a different level of career, and then our oldest daughter is really enjoying changing careers in the process. She's doing her normal job and adding more to it. That means little things are changing all over and big things too. One of the things I'm really celebrating right now is something that I'm trying really hard to do, so I even have a sign for it, and it says, enjoy the little things. You see, so often I am in charge of the big things as far as a project or the details of a filming or helping someone figure out a next 5-year plan or 18-month plan, but I'm really working on celebrating the little things because, you know, it is what's happening in the moment that you live your life. And I really am enjoying that. I've noticed some new things. My daughter Madison is seriously into textures, and so she's an artist and she pays attention to all types of textures. And she had pointed out that, hey, Mom, you know, is that comfortable? Is that feel good when you wear it? Is that really something you enjoy wearing when you're having to go through several airports and such? And just noticing little things that gave personal ease to my life. I think some of you have heard several years ago that I added things like just, you know, things that are pleasurable, things that don't cost a whole lot of money and don't cost a whole lot of time, but getting pencils that are the kind I like, that all kind of match the tones I like and the type I like, carrying my coffee cup when I travel, taking time to just schedule that call with a friend that I want to get to and never get to. I'm just doing little things that make such a big difference in the quality of my life, and my life is just joyous because of it. I've had such a good summer of just realizing the world again, because it's not always work and it's not always schedules and it's not always long periods between having a really fun day. In fact, almost every day this summer has been a fun day for me because we've redefined what the value of fun is for us, and that is to live healthier and happier and to live a life you want to live in. So it's been a really fun time for me. I think those of you who have been around me, you know things are changing because I am not a workaholic anymore. I'm not staying so many hours only dredging through what needs to be dredged through, and I'm still getting the work done. It's just differently now. More appropriate help, more kinds of help, more identification of what I do well and letting go of what I don't, working to my strengths. And that's an important part of this conversation. Gail, I'd love to bring it back to you. I love hearing your wisdom on working to your strengths. So many times, we perfectionists, we gifted girls, we work with only the knowledge of where we're weak. But you help us to understand that we are strong in so many ways, and that is where we need to go.
I celebrate the changes that you've made, sweetie. We've known each other now a little over 4 years, and I remember those days when I used to just be amazed at how you would and could seemingly go and go and go. So I commend you for how you have learned as the years go by, as your life changes, your physical life, your emotional life, and the lives of those around you. You have learned that we have to adapt to those changes if we're going to be happy and healthy, and if we want to live a long, fulfilling life. You know what they say, you can burn the candle at both ends, and pretty soon the candle is all gone, and you may not be done with what you had aspired to do. I think so many of us women, as you said, we gifted girls, we can go and go and go, and we can get things done. And so we think because we can, we should. And there is a never-ending supply of things that we should do and are able to do. As Dr. Edith said, I celebrate every morning and try to encourage all those around me by my example that it is a wonder that we get up every morning and can go about our day. There are many people that cannot. My brother, I spoke to my brother yesterday, he's dealing with some health challenges, and he's still optimistic because he knows that whatever health challenges he has, there are those that have even more. So we have to celebrate where we are and that we are getting up every morning and we're moving forward. I think that's the key. And so I just want to say, whatever wisdom I may have is that we do need to celebrate the fact that we got up every morning, that we're healthy, and that we're learning. We're learning to change and adapt. That, I think, is the key, the learning to change and adapt. Sarah, what do you want to add to that?
Okay, well, I actually, when Sweetie was talking about celebrating, last night I added, I hope you can see this, These little clappers, they're little noisemakers, and I added a really hot orange, so you can probably see it in the background, and this pink one to my desk area because I realized that I just go, 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 and at the end of the day I look at my list and think, well, dang, you did a lot, but it wasn't very fun, and so now I take more breaks to say, woo, I did awesome, you know, and celebrate myself along the way, and it's allowed for, you know, the family to get involved in that celebration. They hear me, you know, clapping about what just happened. And so it lightened up the mood in our house to have more of that, more opportunities to celebrate. Surrounding myself with really bright colors. The photos I take of flowers is really important. And also changing, you know, looking at the things I eat. I had my daughter make some cards that were pretty much everything that I wanted to intake into my body each week, and I have them in a little stack. And as I eat those foods, I'm, you know, clipping them together, and at the end of the week, I can see what I've eaten. It's kind of like doing a food journal, only I don't have to write it down. It's all just in these little deck of cards. And it's really interesting to me that I was able to find out this last week that I was eating a lot more of certain things than I wanted to eat, and a lot less protein, and that gave me a really big insight into why my mood was not the way I wanted it to be. And so when I was able to celebrate, okay, I have an awareness now. Sometimes our celebration comes in just being aware of what we're doing, and then knowing that we can make those changes. And so if things aren't working right in your life, or if you're not having enough celebration or enough joy, you might consider tracking your time, or tracking your food, or tracking, you know, conversations, your reactions to children, or your reactions to other people. As you track things, you gain awareness as to what's working and what's not working. So I've just really enjoyed that this summer, tracking different aspects of my life that I wasn't happy with, so that I can change. You are, I'm not seeing what that says. You are what you track, not what you hate. You'll have to share that, sweetie.
You are what you do, not what you say you will do. You are what you do, not what you say you will do.
Oh, perfect. Exactly.
On my desk, because it is truly not good to say, gosh, I want to be a good mom. I want to be a faithful partner, friend to my husband and to my other friends, as far as my friend Sarah, my friend Gail, my friend Edith. But, you know, saying that to yourself is not the same as doing that. And so we have to really examine our actions and not just our words, because it's so easy to completely create a fairy tale of the life you think you're living. And then you look at that schedule and you say, I didn't walk this week. You look at that menu and you say, I didn't eat anything worth eating. Last night was that kind of day. I have to tattle on me, Sarah. I was with my family last night, and they had a late birthday celebration, because at our house they like cake for birthdays, but I had avoided cake because I'm trying not to eat sugar. So Les brought home a big cake last night and fed me ice cream and cake and a milkshake. And you know what? 45 minutes later, I was a mother from somewhere I didn't want to be from. Because when I eat sugar and I'm frustrated, it's ugly. And so I had to think and say, why in the world am I feeling angry? I'm not angry. I'm happy to be home. But I had sugared up, and the schedule was pushed, and it created
a monster.
You know? It's just, yeah, the monster comes out on that. So when I talk about, am I a good parent? Am I a good mom? Am I a good strategist? Am I a good friend? I start looking at that calendar in my case, because that calendar in my life it tattles. It says, you know, how many places that's blue for the work, how many of those places are green that I got outdoors, how many of those squares are yellow where I had happiness with a friend, where are those places, you know, where I have solitude for me is purple. I color code that calendar, and that helps me see. And I have to report, most of the summer it's been a rainbow. It's been great. It's been equal areas of health and work and happiness and spirituality and all the things that I need to be. But, you know, there are some weeks still where it looks like I'm living in the ocean and there's not much there but blue work. You know, Sarah does this. See, there's hers in reality. It's a great way to celebrate yourself, to see, am I living a rainbow life? Am I living a life that has all of those factors in that I want? Time with family, time with friends, eating good food, having fellowship with others, working appropriately, you know, having time for solitude. I used to not plan solitude time. Let me tell you, girls, it's the best time of my day now. I get up and no one gets to talk to me. No one deals with me. I get up earlier than everybody else to facilitate that. but I have an hour and a half of just me time. I don't work on projects. I don't teach. I don't catch calls. I don't do strategy like I used to super early in the morning. That is my time with the Bible, with God, and with the outdoors if it's pretty enough to go out. And it is fantastic in my life. It has made such a difference to celebrate. All right. Now, I know that Edith Johnson, who is like the mentor of all mentors on getting out and taking care of yourself and having fun, how do you suggest to your clients, and how do you suggest to those of us who need you as clients and mentors, that you start tracking this kind of stuff? Because people really do have trouble celebrating themselves because they think it's great, but they don't know how to keep it going. They think about it, they lose the thought, they don't go forward with the plan. So what are ways that we can have strategies so there's more to celebrate? Because as Sarah says, I like the applause. I like the note that says you did it. I have a button on my editing thing, and when I finish editing a film for our studio, it applauds, and I hit it every single time because I want to celebrate that I sat quietly enough to do the editing and that we have it ready to run, or I was strong enough in my teaching that we did it in a one take. Man, that applause gets turned way up when I can do a one take for 42 minutes of taping and not have to edit it at all, because that's the goal for me, is never to have to edit if I don't have to, just to add the fronts and the backs and to go on down the road. But, you know, I do fun and silly things to celebrate, and I'd love to hear from each of you what you do to celebrate when you're celebrating. Edith, what can we do?
Well, many of the things we can do is, first of all, we have to recognize it. You know, sometimes we aren't even aware we're having a good time, or that we had something that we move forward with. And so letting people find out where that center point is, where that excitement is, where that joy is really, really important. Because back to what, you know, Sarah said too, that awareness, and Gail said, you know, awareness. We aren't aware, so helping people become aware. Well, you mean when I ride my bicycle, I kind of zone out, and I'm so energized afterwards, even though it's been a 10-mile ride. Not me, them. And, oh, well, that's something I can celebrate. That's something that's exciting to me. How can I put more of that in my life? Whatever it is. I have, you know, added little walks and things like that. I have done, you know, different things to find where my center point is. You're talking about the morning times. That center point is a big thing because that's actually a celebration point. And that center point doesn't mean total peace. It can be exuberance. It can be any point where you are feeling complete and that you have completed something and you want to share. So first, I'll start back, like I said, and Sarah said, and Gail said, and even Sweetie's mentioned, that awareness is where we start. And then to incorporate it diligently and purposefully into our lives. And stop and think, that's a new habit for us. Habits don't happen overnight. Bad habits didn't happen overnight that we got. And to integrate the new habits and the good habits, or the habits that help us express ourselves, take practice also. 30 days to get it started. 30 days to make it part of your routine, and letting people know that even if it's just that little tiny change of that quiet time in the morning, that bicycle ride 3 times a week, that making a phone call to somebody when you're feeling like you just need another voice to be able to hear it and to be able to express it. Those are all parts of it. So knowing your center point, knowing where you're at, knowing what makes you celebrate, knowing what makes you feel peaceful. The foods, that's important too. Gail will tell us a lot about that too, and sleep. Don't forget sleep. Gail will really hit us over the head if we forget our sleep. So, and it's important for all of us, looking at those patterns. How can we celebrate? Coming back to strengths, and then we'll turn it back over to Miss Sweetie here, is that strengths, not what you can do, not what you can do well, but what you enjoy doing, and it actually motivates you and encourages you and inspires you. Those are the kind of strengths you want to look at. As gifted girls, we can do anything and everything probably. There are areas, yes, we fall down in, but most of the time we think we can do it all. Find your strengths, celebrate them, take time for yourself, learn your patterns, be aware, make it happen, and celebrate today. And Sweetie, where are we at now?
Well, I tell you what, I so love the word celebrate your strengths, because I believe that as a coach, I believe that as a strategist, and I am starting to practice it more and more every day in all facets of my life. As a person who grew up working with learning disabled kids and a person with low vision myself, I'm aware that it's just silly to tell a person to try to see harder. Just work on trying to see harder. Tell a child who's blind, just look harder, keep trying, and eventually you'll get it. But you know what? They probably won't. Just like a person who has diabetes probably won't produce insulin better by telling them to do so. Why would you spend your life doing that when you can celebrate what you can do and what you can do well? And by the way, where you can allow other people to do what they do well. One of the biggest changes that comes with my clients when they do that On Track for Success class I teach is recognizing their success, recognizing their strengths, recognizing who they really are. And the privilege, the greatest privilege I have in the whole wide world is being present when people figure out what it is that they do well and then start to learn the skills to support to facilitate that. So many times we hold a child back in school because they can't tell you what 4 times 3 is consistently, and we stop teaching them math because they don't know their multiplication tables instead of handing them a calculator so that they can think past what they can't memorize. I want us all to really celebrate the fact that we do a lot of things well. We do many things that we never give ourselves credit for, because one of the problems with being a gifted girl is we think often that if it's easy, it's not of value. If it's easy for us, it's not of value, and that's just a lie, because we are all born with gifts and talents. And when we learn to facilitate using those gifts and talents, it probably is a big joy to us, and it probably comes easier than some other things because it was a gift or a talent for us. And what I really want to do this year, this whole 2015, 2016 year, for me, my school years kind of run as my year of the day. I guess I was a teacher for so long that I think the school and life year starts August 1st, and it continues through June, and I love summer school too, so I pretty much do learning year-round. But I think it's important that we stop and put it on your calendar, put it on a text message to yourself of what you do well, and remind yourself you're doing things better if you are working on a harder area. For me, taking time to play was an area that was non-existent in my life. My playtime in the past was defined as flying out to work with my clients, which I love and enjoy. But that's very different than playing. And one of the most joyful times of my life lately was last Saturday, because I had a friend in town, and I gathered my daughter and a lot of art materials that we enjoy working with, and we just freestyle played all afternoon. We made art, we made wreaths, we made a lampshade, we made all kinds of things. We just played. And that was the purpose. The purpose was fun. How many times do you celebrate the purpose of fun? In ancient days, they had festival days throughout the year. Some religions have them still today. And the purpose of the festival was to celebrate. Even in the Bible, God talks about 10% of your time is celebrating the harvest. And those were verses you don't hear about a whole lot when you're hearing about Christianity. You don't hear a whole lot about celebrating anything but the birth of Christ. There's a lot more to celebrate. We're supposed to encourage people and be exhorters of folks. And part of that is the celebration too. When we recognize the best in ourselves, we're more able to recognize the best in others. And I just want to really encourage you to realize that if you cannot love yourself, it's very hard for you to love others. And part of the celebrating is celebrating who you are and loving who you are and becoming who you are so that you can celebrate that in others too. I just want to really pop this over to Gail a moment. I think that she is just amazing at doing just that, to find out what there is to celebrate in others and to share that moment with them. Because you know what? Sometimes we don't even know what to celebrate about ourselves until someone reminds me of who we are.
Sweetie, that is so true, and that is your example of in older times where they would have the festivals, because that was the purpose, not only to bring people together, but to remind them that, okay, now, this is the time we're all going to stop. It reminds people, it gives everyone permission to stop and enjoy and to have fun together, so no one has to feel guilty about it. There was so much wisdom in that, into bringing the whole community together. And that's what I think is so important today that we do, is that we verify with each other, we encourage one another, we say out loud, it's okay for you to have fun. I think of some of the conversations you and I have, sweetie, where one of us might say, well, but I just didn't have time for that, or I just don't have time for that, but I took the time anyway to have some fun, and we always encourage one another. That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing what a difference that can make in the lives, especially of us gifted girls. We can wake up every morning and think about what the 99 things that we didn't do, even though we did 199 things yesterday. So we have to be encouraged by one another to stop and say, having fun, enjoying myself is not only okay, it's life critical. Sarah.
So who would you like to popcorn to, Sarah?
I'd like to hear what Sarah has to say.
I just was thinking that sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to celebrate when it's kind of a foreign concept to us, and Sweetie talked about that. And for me, that's what I've had to do. I've had to really be strategic about blocking out celebration time and rest time and play time on my calendar. And at first, I kind of felt guilty about it. I felt like, oh, this is not okay. I should be working. I should be producing. I should be doing something for someone. And so it's taken me several weeks of time to be okay with it, like for my body, my spirit, everything to be okay with it. And as I've done it more, then it's become more and more joyful. And I've realized that my productivity has gone up, because I don't drudge working anymore. I know I'm going to get my playtime in. I know it's in an environment that works for me, and everything has just gone much more smoothly. The environment in our house has shifted, and it's just fun. So realize that taking time for yourself and taking time to celebrate is really not just a gift for you. It's a gift for everyone that you mentor, that you parent, that you're responsible for. It's a gift to everybody else, too, because you're taking care of you means that you can be more joyful for everyone else. So, all right, Dr. Edith, give us a few little tidbits.
First tidbit would probably know how to do your technology. I said, you were talking about, is it okay with me? And giving yourself permission is a really important part of it. Giving yourself permission for those breaks, those transitions. That's a celebration too. Whew, I got that done this morning. It's only 14 places down my to-do list, and there's 114 more to go. But I have one done. I have one done. And that one took, some intensity. That one took some application. That one took using my strengths to their fullest. Well, I need that few minutes of play. I need that few minutes of rest. I need that few minutes of a change of pace, because just that spark, that deep breath or whatever can just bring back and rejuvenate that energy so I can go on and approach the next one. I also like the idea where we're planning in our play. And an extreme or a very big type of thing is that, are we planning for a festival? Are we planning for a celebration? And part of the planning is part of the fun. And we need to recognize that it's not necessarily the work. Around my house, each year we have a theme for Christmas. And I know we're a few months out and nobody wants to rush the season. But part of ours is determining our theme and then planning around it, which means we have an excuse to play between now and Christmas because we have to get ready for that celebration. And you can use it whether it's the end of summer, so we can have an end of summer celebration. It's the first day of school celebration. We're starting something new. But being able to plan for it and saying, yes, I'm going to recognize the strength and the involvement for it and recognize who we are as a group and as individuals and what we've done. And, yeah, make it a planned play. It's a great way to be able to step out and be who you are. And sometimes that silly child inside is really part of it. And that's kind of fun. All right. Miss Sweetie, what will you have to add?
Well, I just love hearing everybody talk about celebrating themselves, and I love to popcorn really fast of one thing you're proud of yourself for, because, we have to learn to be proud of ourselves, and it's just a very important part of owning who you are is saying, this month I really did this differently, and I'm proud of me for it. And I'd love to popcorn that really quickly, then I've got to get this closed out because it's time for us to go. But I am really proud of myself this month for reaching out to my friend and saying, this is hard for me. I need some accountability for this, and to be able to say to her without being embarrassed, I really did this great today. I need some cheering on because I did something different, and I need you to know that I did because I need to be accountable to celebrating the fact that I'm trying to grow. And all of my friends are so kind to me. But these three, particularly the three that are here, plus one more, are so serious about if I pick up the phone or if I text them or if I put a message in something, they have the right to share that celebration with me. And I've chosen carefully because, as Brene Brown says, people have to earn the right to hear your story. You don't just tell everybody who you're struggling with or what you're celebrating about because they may not have the right to know that yet. But these friends on the screen today, and Martina McGowan and Ashley and several other of my friends, are close enough that I really tell them the nitty-gritty of where it is, and they high-five me and squeal. Sarah and I squeal over the computer sometimes when we've made a technical discovery or a financial discovery, or however we've figured out how to work our life a little differently that we struggle with, and we celebrate together. I think that's so important. Sarah, what's one of your quick ones?
I'm super excited that I took profit and spent it on some things I've wanted: white leather couches and a new bedding for my bedroom, and just I'm loving my new home because I've chosen to surround myself with things that I really, really enjoy. So I'm totally celebrating me.
All right, there you go, Gail.
I think that, I'm a gifted girl in many areas, but when it comes to technology, I feel so dumb. So this last month, I have made it a point to learn how to do things like Hootsuite.
Yay!
and to celebrate that and to know that it's okay that I felt like I was behind everyone else. But I'm celebrating that I'm learning it now. So that's my celebration. That's cool.
Videos and upload them to YouTube by yourself. Your Monday hugs are now on YouTube for all of us to share. How rocking is that?
I know, and that's been so fun to learn how to do that. And Madison, Sweetie's daughter, gave me a fabulous tutorial on that, and I was so pleased how well it went.
I'm proud for you. All right, Dr. Edith, we're always proud of you, but tell us why today.
You know, I'm proud that I give myself permission and actually do it to take those 10 minutes, either read a few pages in a book, crochet a few stitches, or just go out, walk outside, and knowing that I'm not a photographer, take pictures. So to give myself permission to celebrate in doing little fun things.
I love that because, the big things often happen. We plan for vacations. We plan for savings. We plan for other things, but we often don't plan to have a perfectly wonderful time every day. So this has been Sweetie Berry with the Women of Dare Whimsy. We write on Thursdays together about our own personal tips about where it is that we are and what we're talking about. And so one of the things I want to share with you is that we're not gurus, we're not experts, but we are all gifted women who are high creative. And we do share this adventure called Lifting Gifted. On Thursdays at darewhimsy.com, we'd love you to read about how we celebrate and what we celebrate and get to know us. And we'd like to follow you home and get to know you too. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. We're kicking off a rockin' September with Dare Whimsy and the Women of Dare Whimsy here at Between Us Girls. Thank you for coming today. Celebrate today and celebrate yourself because we're certainly celebrating you.